down bad power rankings.
You're a professional, sir.
Because it's true. Can we start with them?
Yeah.
Let's start.
Can you explain what the down bad power rankings are? One of my favorite segments of the year. I think we did this with quarterbacks in the offseason. And it's basically just, you're down bad, right? Like when the girl don't text you back and you think you might have found the one, you're down bad. When that 7.5 doesn't come through and your team loses by 8, you're down bad. Explain the down bad power rankings and what we're doing for this segment.
So for this segment, we are going to be ranking these teams and on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the most down bad and 1 being they're fine, we're just kind of nervous about this team. So the nominees are the Raiders, the Giants, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Browns, the Bengals, the Ravens, Titans, Saints, and Cardinals. So I had mentioned that the Cardinals are down bad. However, Nick, the Cardinals come in for me at just a 5. So they are down bad and things are terrible. But I think they're just in a really crappy division to be in, where no matter how much you progress, you already know you're fighting for a wild card spot to make the playoffs anyways. Nothing on your team is solidified. You kind of have invested a lot into the secondary, but at the same time, you thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to be something that he's not. So It's a team that is just snake bit in a way, with James Conner going down and Marvin Harrison Jr. having the shitty start to the year. I know he's resurrected it, but the fact that all the narratives are, could he ever have been the one? Like, this was one of the biggest flops that we've seen in a while. He's definitely started to rewrite the narratives. I have an interesting thing I want to save for his props once we get to the picks, so don't let me forget about that. But the Cardinals, for me, if they were in the NFC South, tough team. I feel like they fit the mold of NFC South, AFC South, but where they're at in the NFC West, it's not going to go their way for a long time until they get, I think, the luck back on their side.
Listen, it's hard to argue against it. We're doing a 1 to 10 ranking, like George explained. He said a 5. 10 means they're the most down bad.
Correct.
1 means they're fine, but we're just a little nervous. We're
Correct.
nervous with all these teams. It's one of the worst positions to be in football. When you look at how bad backup quarterback play is, you understand why some teams are just like, I don't want to give them 200 M's, but I have to. They're one of those teams where, like, Kyler Murray got a brief concussion because the ball hit him in the face mask. What are we doing, bro? You know what I mean? Like, I used to make this argument in the past where, remember when the Bengals first paid Andy Dalton? You're like, what? You're like, what's behind him? What do you do? Like, it's cool. All right, you want to replace Tua if you're a Dolphins fan, right? Which for me, the Dolphins are out of 10, by the way. So I can pick up with that. I agree with you with the Cardinals. There's not much to mention there, but I'll just combine the two things. Miami's out of 10. First coach fired is still very, very live. It's still active. They blew a 10-point lead against the Panthers, who are also on this list. But if you're Miami, you haven't had a quarterback since Marino, really, that you could be like, this is our guy. Even Tannehill became Tannehill after he left you and he went to Tennessee. You pay Tua. Dude, that draft class, Burrow, Herbert, Tua, Hurts, Jordan Love, you got the worst of the bunch. And you pay him because what do you have to replace him with? And then it worked with McDaniel. Like, we even made the case when we did the preview show. We talked about how, all right, look, we don't think they're going to do well, but when Tua does play a full season, they're one of the best offenses in the league. They might be something. Darren Waller has been a career resurgence he's had. Another guy that leaves the Giants and has a career year, which is just poetic justice at this point, but they lose Tyreek. And you just look at the lineup top to bottom. Yeah, their D-line is cool, but if they're trailing most of the time like they have been this year, you don't even get to see them flourish. I think they're down bad because I think they're going to have to clean house. I think it got to be a new GM, a new head coach, maybe even a new quarterback. And I just hate when the pattern is not following the other. Like, I'm very nervous about the Giants, bro, because I think both head coaches are going to be out. But what happens if the guy comes in and they're like, I don't like Jackson Dart. Now you're doing a rebuild again. Mm-hmm. And Jackson Dart hasn't established himself at all to be the one. I think he might be.
Right.
I'm also cautiously optimistic. But it's not like you're stepping in to take over the Chiefs where you're like, yeah, we're not going to do nothing with Mahomes. You're not stepping in with Buffalo where...
For sure. You're not getting the blank slate, even though, I mean, that's the first position where, you want to even make a change in the draft class to show like this is the model that we want, and that's what would end up happening. But for me, I agree with you. The Dolphins weren't a 10 for me. They were a 9.5. Just because I know that McDaniels understands where he's at on the hot seat ranking. At number one, the burners turned up all the way. He's mumbling through press conferences. People are wondering if he's drinking on the job. I think that's a mad scientist at his work. Sometimes I like when addicts kind of like go back to their addictive ways, because sometimes it produces some fun plays. Look, he brings Darren Waller back. What are Darren Waller and McDaniels doing in Miami on a Sunday night after a game? I don't know. TMZ hasn't been able to follow them yet.
A lot of temptations in the 305.
I would just say maybe, hire a PI and see where those two end up. So that's why they're a 9.5 for me. It's still extremely down bad, but you got like a sense of Miami crazy to it that wins you half a point for me. And you started talking about the Giants. So where do they fall on the scale for you?
For me, the Giants are at a 6. Dexter Lawrence has voiced his frustrations. Maybe he gets dealt. I'm really pissed. I loved the fake trade between the Bengals and the Giants, and then the Bengals go and they trade for Joe Flacco. Not the biggest fan of it. I thought Winston would have been way better. Thibodeau is on a 1-year deal like we explained on the last show. That's why I presented that trade. But the Giants, I have them at a 6. Look, they still can't block. Jackson Dart is helping the offensive line because he is mobile. I don't like the fact that he gets smoked 3-4 times a game. I don't like the fact that they paid Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo $45 million each for 3 years. And PFF has them bottom 5 in their positions through 5 weeks. You look at the draft classes the last couple of years. I mean, bro, how long you know me now?
4 years?
Yeah, 3.5 coming up.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about the Giants, don't I always address the shit with the first round picks that they've had? Mm-hmm. Going back to like Aaron Ross in 2007. You can't build a successful team when you don't re-sign your first round picks. And you look at what they've done the last couple of years. Deontay Banks, complete non-factor in the secondary. You look at just the history. Daniel Jones, first round pick, off the team. Evan Ingram, first round pick, off the team. Malik Neighbor is now hurt, unfortunately, but he was a hell of a draft pick. The last 2 drafts, 24 and 25, maybe that's spearheading the new movement. But like, bro, 2023 was a nightmare class. 2022 was a nightmare class. You take Evan Neal and Thibodeau, and the jury's out on both of them. Thibodeau's better than Neal, but you didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So is he going to want to resign? You're paying Lawrence, you're paying Burns, you're going to have to save money for Carter. You're going to get a new head coach. You're going to probably get a new GM. I think they're at a 6. They're pretty down bad. Losing to the Saints. You're up in that game, and then to lose. I know they had 5 straight turnovers that never helps anybody.
For sure.
But they play Philly tonight if you're listening to the show. I expect them to lose because they always lose to Philly. And it's just not a lot of promise. It's wishful thinking with Jackson Dart. And I still like him. I'm very happy with him. Hot take, I think he's the best quarterback in the class.
I mean,
I'm not saying much.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm trying to think about it. You got Cam Ward right now. You got Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Tyler Shook can't even start over Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
So whatever. Giants are at a 3 for me for the superstar factor and finding two people that I feel you can feel really confident in this year, and then obviously neighbors in the coming year to make something truly happen on this offense that the Giants haven't seen in a long time. And that's what you have to be hopeful for. The defense with Abdul Carter too is solid. So that's why it's a 3 for me. I think regardless of who comes in after Dable, which I think this is his final year, just based on the Giants probably won't make the playoffs. And with the New York media, they're going to want to see something new. And so I think they're going to keep the pieces, at least the new pieces, in place. And sometimes a change into the guard is the best thing that could happen for a team. But it all starts with Jackson Dart. And he has the aura. Cam Scattaboo has the aura. Malik Neighbors was playing the most excited he's played his entire career for the 3 quarters that he played with Jackson Dart. So it's bright. The future is bright for the Giants, in my opinion.
Well, I hope. I definitely hope. I'm a little bit more worried just because of the unknown. And this will be Shermer, Judge, Dable. I'm missing someone. I know I'm missing someone.
Coughlin?
Nah, since Coughlin, it's been circling through coaches. I try to forget them. That's why I'm stumped right now. But yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad. It makes you appreciate the longevity of a Mike Tomlin, a Shanahan, a Harbaugh, a McVay. These coaches that have been there for a minute. Todd Bowles also too, bro. Quietly, Todd Bowles.
Stefanski?
Yeah. Stefanski too, 2-time coach of the year. Let's go with them now. What do you got the Browns at? I'm at a 9.
The Browns for me are an 8.
Okay, close. Why are they an 8 for you?
They're an 8 for me because the defense invested and re-upped in one of the best defensive players that we've had in our generation. And that was a big move in at least the next 3 years of what you want to do with this team. The fact that they can still remain competitive, given the fact that their quarterback situation isn't fully figured out yet, gives me immense hope for this team. And, you know, Dylan Gabriel didn't look too bad. Like, they're already starting the process of figuring out what the next piece is going to be. They still can flip the switch on at any time and be the most watched game of the week as soon as Shadur starts. So the piece that I really, really liked was the Judkins piece, and the fact that they hadn't figured that out earlier in the year. I mean, imagine what this dude would have done if he started off rip. The most impressive thing that I've seen on the Browns team for the past couple of weeks has been him. So they're an 8 for me just because, you know, it sucks being a Browns fan and having to understand that every year has been a rebuilding year since Baker left. And since Baker left, motherfuckers.
Talk to him, bro.
The best part of the Browns franchise for the last decade was the Baker Mayfield years. And so they're trying to get back to that Baker glory. But it's tough.
Man.
Stacking the Coach of the Year awards like a motherfucker. Stefanski, look at him go. But what a shit organization.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. It just, my favorite thing about the NFL, and I've been talking to some of my friends in the group chat with our fantasy league. A lot of my buddies and I, we rekindled the fantasy league after all these years. And one of my friends, Nick, mentioned something really interesting. He's like, yo, bro, there's just been a resurgence of old faces, new places, and shining. Sam Darnold. Shit, I'd throw in Geno Smith when he went to Seattle. You look at Baker now in Tampa. You look at Mac Jones with the Niners. You look at shit, I'm blanking. There was someone else on the list. Sam Darnold going to
Seattle.
Minnesota, now
yeah,
in Seattle also. The iconic photo of Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold warming up with the Panthers. They let those guys go. Imagine what the Panthers would look like if they kept one of them two, and then they didn't trade the farm for a Bryce Young to Chicago. You're looking at that team differently. And it gotta be something where, like, if you're the owner of a team, aren't you firing the scouting department, bro? Like, there's no way. If I was the Panthers owner, if I was the Jets owner, if I was the Browns owner, I'd be like, yeah, can I talk to you for a second? Come here. Let's talk. I'd throw a picture on the fucking screen of Baker and be like, how the fuck is this happening? It's the coaching. Coach, come in here real quick. Yo, good luck on your future endeavors, bro. And all of you guys, scouting department, all 75 of you, how many it is? Deuces.
C'est la vie.
How the fuck do we let that happen? Because you were in-house. And it just goes to show you that it's not, I think players, it's always a scenario you're drafted in and you go into. Remember, in the NFL, you get drafted to the worst fucking teams. So that's why it's so impressive when a guy comes in like an Andrew Luck, going back in the time, with a guy like Robert Griffin III, they changed the franchise immediately. That's an impact franchise player. And it just goes to show you just how fucking difficult it is for these players when they're just surrounded. Daniel Jones, bro, I didn't mention him. Now on the Colts, top 10 MVP candidate right now at the moment. Right? They're 4-1. First place. You fuck. I'm so pissed at you.
Whoa, I got Danny Dimes at 70-1 to win MVP.
Hey, listen, I know, but
if they're number one seed overall, bro, it's his.
Yeah.
Because it's a wins award.
Yeah. It'll be a wins award, but also because in the summer you were like, yo, Colts to be the 1 seed. It was like, what, 50-1?
Yeah.
It would have been good. But hey, we'll resurface the clips and we'll still get the same kind of impact. And, the money won't be the same, but we'll get the views up, which is always nice. Yeah. But dude, add him to the list also. And it just goes to show you that, it's really not, it's the organization you're into, the scheme, the coaching, and then everything else after. So, yeah, Baker and the Browns is...
Can we go to the next team that is orange in the same division?
Yeah. Okay, so the Bengals.
The Bengals are a 7 on my scale.
I had them at a 9. Yeah.
Did you change that last second? I feel like you had it lower.
Yeah, I changed it this morning.
Damn.
As we were coming into film. Yeah.
It's a 9.
So why is yours a 7?
You know what? I actually don't know why I have mine at a 7. Because it really does suck when Joe Burrow isn't playing and you just know that the season's over. And this has happened consistently. And you have all the money invested into your wideouts. And what you do is you go and get a Joe Flacco and you send them on Delta Airlines in the middle row to go resurrect your season. It's fucked, dude. Like this is as bad as it can get for the Bengals in the near future. And they're a team that I thought should fire Zach Taylor a while ago. And I feel like his career is also just being extended by Burrow's injuries. Like, he will get a pass this year. For what reason? And I do think that if they made some moves, that it would be for the betterment of this organization. I don't think that, Burrow's going to come back and be the same Joe Burrow. If I'm being honest, like, this is a pattern and a history that has shown us that behind that offensive line, this quarterback is going to end up on the IR eventually. And how much, are you willing to shill out to try to get things right with all those contracts? I don't know. They're at a 7 for me, though, because Jamar Chase and T. Higgins any given weekend could go 150 and a touchdown apiece, and this team could win a game.
Yeah, listen, I don't disagree with that. However, their top 5 salaries, right? Trey Hendrickson, $25 million. T. Higgins, $24 million. This is cap hits. Jamar Chase, $23 million. Orlando Brown Jr., $15 million. And then Joe Burrow, $42 million. $46 million. Yeah, they built their team like I would in Madden.
Yep.
Yeah, let me get the best receivers, quarterback. And the reason why they're down bad at a 9 for me is because when Joe Burrow has played the full season, they've gone to a Super Bowl, they've gone to an AFC title game, and he's had a career year. The other times, he's been injured. So he gets that label that no athlete ever wants to have, no fan base ever wants to have, injury prone. Because it is. Because to me, injury prone, I define it as different injuries. It's not just like, I always would defend Keenan Allen. Like, bro, he's injury prone. He's like, no, he had the spleen and then he tore his ACL. Outside of that, he was pretty reliable on a week-to-week basis. Like, he never missed time throughout his career for lengthy. It's just, freak accidents. Injury prone is hamstring, shoulder, concussion, high ankle sprain, jam thumb, quad. That's injury prone. And the offensive line is just so bad that you allocate all this money to the weaponry, but the O-line is just abysmal. Bro, there was a play going around a couple weeks ago where a team rushed 3 passers and the 4 linemen covered the defensive tackle and the 2 edge rushers, they sacked Jake Browning. And it was like, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It's like really, really bad. And you know what? I don't think their defense has been playing as bad as we thought. The big concern coming into the year with the Bengals was, their defense is not going to be able to stop anyone. I don't think the defense has been playing that bad, all things considered, with the short fields and the turnovers and a lot of like the no-name players that they have. Like, I like Logan Wilson. Obviously, they have Hendrickson. But I think they've been playing really well defensively. But you're just looking at it, their games, bro. Their games. They're done by halftime.
Yeah.
They're 48-10 to Minnesota, 28-3 to Denver. The Lions game ends up 37-24, but that was not a 37-24 game. Like, the Lions were chilling the whole time. So that's why I think they're down bad the most. Because even if Burrow was to come back, say he didn't get hurt week 2, the way the offensive line has been playing, it was bound to happen this year.
Facts.
It was bound to happen this year. And also, I think just moving forward, Joe Burrow is worth 27 points against the point spread. It's been that bad. It's been that bad.
Yeah, you got to pick on this team. It's a 7 for me just because you at least have the pieces in your possession, and you can make the most of it on the back end when you're thinking of future building past this.
But you know what that reminds me of, what you're saying now? You ever seen the meme of, it's like the Bugatti in like the trailer park? You ever seen that? I don't know if it's a Bugatti, but it's like a high-end luxury car. And then it'll be like Saquon on the Giants. It's like trash, but the car is phenomenal. It's kind of the same thing here. T. Higgins, Jamar, and Burrow, the luxury car. But it's in a fucking mobile home. Yeah. It's where it's parked next to. That's what the Bengals are. So, yeah, it's cool. It's fancy, but
for sure,
you don't know what to do with it.
What's the next team we want to cover here in this down bad power ranking?
Let's also stay in division. We got 3 teams in the AFC North.
And we thought that was going to be a buzzsaw of a division this year.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah.
It was last year. And we're not that far removed where a couple years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, where every team in the division had a 9-win total or higher. It was the first time in NFL history that happened. So yeah, it just goes to show you why. Another reason why the NFL is so exciting is worst to first. You don't see this happen in many other leagues like it does here in the NFL. So with the Ravens, they got the lowest down bad ranking for me. I gave them a 1, but I am nervous. Look, their schedule, bro, I'm telling you, George, their schedule, we got to monitor this because I think after this week, they play the Rams, right? After this week, they have a bye week. Then they play Bears at home, at Miami, at Minnesota, at Cleveland, home Jets, home Bengals, home Steelers, at Bengals. Bro, I think they come back. Ready? I think they run the table when Lamar comes back.
Wow.
I think they run the table. I think
that's a very strong take, dude.
Even though
given the type of player he is.
Given the type of player he is, the morale boost, the biggest concern is their defense. They've given up the most points in the league, 177 points. And they're 1-2 at home, which was a fucking very hard place to play in not too long ago. But I'm just looking at the schedule. You're going to be coming off a bye playing Chicago at home. I'm higher on the Bears than a lot of other people. But you're at home. You get Lamar back if you get him back that game. And then you just look at the rest of it, bro. It's a very favorable schedule. Do you know that they're plus 110, the favorites to win the AFC North, despite being 1-4 and Pittsburgh being 4-1, 6-point favorites against Cleveland, probably moved to 5-1. And you're looking at a team that's going to be 5-1 and 1-5 after week 6. And the books still have the Ravens. Why? Because of the schedule. And I'm telling you, we're going to do this. We're going to money line roll it over every week, starting with that Bears game. They're going to run the table. They'll be 1-5. They're going to finish 12-5.
God damn.
The Ravens are going to finish 12-5. That's my take. That's why I'm not too worried about them. Even though defensively it's been a fucking nightmare, but I think Lamar comes back. They'll have opportunities with these weak teams. Bro, look at their schedule to start off. They played some juggernauts, right? You lose to Buffalo. You smoke Cleveland at home. You lose to Detroit. You lose to Kansas City. All right, Houston, you get your shit punched in, but you don't have Lamar. Bro, they played 1, 2, 3 Super Bowl contenders that are in the top 6.
And they're about to get whooped by one this week, too.
Yeah. They're going to get
Rams.
Yeah, Rams.
7-point favorites on the road.
Yeah, on the road. Without Lamar. So they're down bad at the moment because they don't have their quarterback. But he'll come back.
Did you see the trade rumors today? The Derrick Henry trade rumors that people have been floating out there?
I saw that. I saw another one that I really liked. Mark Andrews to Tampa.
Wow.
Reunites with Baker Mayfield. They played together at Oklahoma.
It'd be big time.
They could use a tight end down there.
Definitely.
And it's a tight end that could come in right away, and he knows Baker really well. That's a dope fucking trade. That is a very good trade.
That's why the Ravens are coming in at a 5 for me, where if the rumors are starting now, this is just not where you expected to be. And when things haven't gone your way in terms of getting back to a Super Bowl in a very long time, you have to start thinking about the critical decisions you have to make moving forward. And this team, I think that the fan base is one that would be passionate enough to want to make like extreme changes if things go really bad here. And so that's on the table, bro. Because I agree with you that it's open and it's available for us once Lamar's back to put in a nice little bet for them to win the division. But I don't know. He's a prolific player that even in the games that I had seen him play in so far this year, it was still that Lamar that I'm like, if you don't have the game plan go exactly the way you expect it, he's not a fly by the seat of his pants type of quarterback that can figure it out. Like the game plan has to be perfect. Derrick Henry has to be moving. His completions early on in the game need to be easy, because if not, then he shifts it into I have to do everything mode and everything else goes to shit. So that's why this team to me is a 5.
Okay. I ain't mad at it.
Yep.
I ain't mad at it. And look, to your point about Derrick Henry, bro, when they're winning, best running back in the league. When they fall down 10-0, you're like, oh, fuck. He stumbled into the end zone, and only because they got a defensive call penalty did Houston, and they put the ball at the 2-yard line. And he hit in this economy last week for him to score a touchdown. So I hear you on that. Let's go to let's go to the Jets. Jets are 0-5. Have not had a defensive turnover.
Sound the alarms, bro.
Sound the alarms. I got him at a 7.
This team's a 10 for me.
Whoa.
Explain how it's a 7.
So I like to factor in when I'm doing these down bad power rankings. What was my expectation of you coming into the year?
Got it.
Right. That's why for me, I had the Bengals at a 9. Right. Jets, I put it at a 7 because Justin Fields, one of the best quarterbacks of all time in fantasy football. If you watch, because there was a graphic going around where it's like, dude, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like, he's not the problem. Well, no, watch the games, not the box score. He's a big reason why.
Mm-hmm.
But he runs. He picked up like a 4th and 8 on Monday Night Football and scored a 40-something yard touchdown against Miami. He's a problem too. He's missing wide open receivers deep down the field on like no pass rush. When he finally gets no pass rush, he still can't deliver the ball. A lot of his stuff comes in garbage time, but I just feel like they have no identity. The defense, you have a defensive guy in Aaron Glenn, who I still want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I like Aaron Glenn. And just lifeless. Paying guys that are not contributing. Sauce, more and more people. Have you been seeing this? More and more people are like, yo, Sauce Gardner hasn't. And I'm like, oh, been saying it for a year and a half. Just a cool nickname.
Yeah.
That's all he is. He hasn't been good since his rookie year where he came out the gates on fire. Remember him and Garrett Wilson, they won rookies of the year together. But they're just, the fan base is done with them already. Another year that they're 0-5. And look, the other team in New York ain't much better. They're 1-4. So for me, they're at a 7.
I had told you at the beginning of the year, if they averaged only 14 points a game, that they would go 2-15. And they are currently at 22 points a game. So they are exceeding my expectations. However, I've yet to see the win column whatsoever. So yeah, no, it is a defensive issue. And when you have a defensive coach come in his first year, bro, it's not like, look at what Vrabel's doing. You know what I mean? It's like, that is a team that is bought into the culture that he is pitching. And Aaron Glenn coming into this year was not the first coach coming out of people's mouth. It was Ben Johnson and the way that the Ben Johnson offense was. And Aaron Glenn, I think, should thank Dan Campbell every day for this facade of toughness that was, presented behind him, and saying that, oh, well, they got the dog shit Lions to start, lighting people up and hustling to the ball and creating a culture of wanting to win a fucking football game. And the Jets have only shown that in spurts. And I think, it's going to take them a while to get the pieces in place that he wants. So I do want to give him, he'll get a 2-year leash. But if he doesn't figure it out after next year, like, this was just another failed Jets project.
Yeah.
They're a 10.
They're a 10. The last team I want to talk about is the Raiders.
This is another 10.
It is a 10, yeah.
This is a 10. This team and everybody in the city right now is embarrassed to drive by Allegiant Stadium. Not really. Nobody cares about the Raiders here. That's the issue, Nick. People don't even know there's a fucking game. We got two
guys that care about the Raiders, but yeah.
Yes.
Consensus.
Yes. Of course. Yeah. No. Consensus, not the people that, are diehards. Shout out to, everybody in Raider Nation right now. Times are bad. Geno Smith, I was talking to my uncle, diehard Raider fan. I'm like, Do you bet the Raiders this weekend versus the Titans? Like, the books are favoring the Raiders heavy.
This is the wildest dilemma I think I've faced in a very long time because I want to take them in my eliminator pool.
Yep.
Titans coming off a monster win, back-to-back road games, Vegas at home. I just can't trust it. It's the asshole theory. You're going to feel like an asshole if you're holding a -6 on Geno Smith. And at halftime, he's being booed because he has 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
For sure. I did have to watch all his interceptions back so far from this year to get like an understanding of, because, not all interceptions are created equal. These were of the worst variety of interceptions, staring receivers down, underthrowing receivers. His confidence is shook in a major way. And I don't think Ashton Genty has provided as big of a pop as needed for this team. And Brock Bowers being limited and hurt sucks. So like, I don't understand it. Like, how are they going to score this upcoming weekend? And what I wanted to get to in my point was when I talked to my uncle, is this the game that Geno Smith either revitalizes what can be like a somewhat decent season for the Raiders if he is able to figure it out, or is it a fire sale and we got to start Kenny Pickett, and this team has yet to figure out a quarterback ever since coming to Las Vegas?
It's a lot of question marks, bro.
So many.
Yeah, and then you look at it like they hired Pete Carroll to change the culture. He's an older coach. He's in his 70s. So like you don't see him being there for a long time. How much longer is he going to coach? Geno Smith was supposed to be a stopgap, but he's making it worse. And I always feel for players like Max Crosby. I feel for players like Myles Garrett. Well, two sides. The one shoulder is like I feel bad for them. On the other is like, you signed up for this.
Facts.
You took the money.
Bro, you got a tattoo of it on you.
Right. But you took the money. Big. Which, go ahead, 40 plus million a year, I would take it too. But then you also can't be like, yo, I want to win. Right? You know who wants to win? Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson left $110 million on the table so that they could build a team around him. That's someone that wants to win. Do something about it to improve the team, take less money. But then, it's the yin and yang. The one side, I'm like, you asked for this. The other side, I'm like, nah, get your money, bro.
Yep.
Short career. Why not? But yeah, it depends. I think what you said, though, in breaking down the Raiders, man, Brock Bowers got hurt week 1, and the team has just not looked the same. And I think Genty got going last time that we saw him. Sorry, not last time. Last time they played at home against the Bears. And I think it's a very good matchup for him to maybe have another monster game, and they're going to need to. I think they're going to need to. I'm going to need to because I'm going to take the Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders to at least win outright, because when you do these eliminator pool picks, you got to take a chance because you're like, yo, I'm never going to take the Raiders again this year. You're just not to.
Yeah.
Again, I think they're going to have a home field advantage for the first time in a long time.